and much depends on, again, how your partner responds to what we were talking about yesterday. So if all's going okay, you pretty much can go through and do Ikkyo. But if there's a point where things get blocked, for example, I'm here this way, I want to step through, but he's very strong at this point, resisting, trying to stand back up at this point. All of a sudden, then this becomes the fulcrum where my inside arm is, and I can walk around it. So notice where things are starting, where there's a potential for getting blocked. You can resist against you. You can practice resisting against each other. Sometimes he'll just get up like that. Even to do this is too difficult. He stands up. And Aikido is about going with the flow. Too often we think about a particular scenario and we stick to that. No matter how he changes the scenario, my scenario always remains the same. That's very difficult to do. So he blocks me out here. Then I step out this way, and look, he's got 1, 2 legs, but the third leg here is missing, so that's where I take him. He blocks me out at this point, tries to stand back up and step out. Okay, let's continue with Ikkyo. So this is a henkawaza going from Ikkyo to udegarami. Ikkyo, udegarami. You can finish it here. Sometimes you don't get to wrap your arm all the way around. You're here. And you don't have time for this. But if you just catch them a little bit like that, as if you have Velcro on your fingers. The arms and upper body very relaxed. This hand folds under a little bit, like that. Everything comes from the center. Here. So this outside hand folds up a little bit, and it's similar to what we were working on yesterday from here, using the grip. Very similar thing. Shifting in, and roll it from your tanden, from your center. Let's get into groups and try that. mostly the pinky. And keep a gentle connection with the free arm. So you're rolling your partner around your belly. Again, we spoke yesterday about big belly Aikido. That's what I do. So I encourage all of you, just let it out. We're always trying to suck it up, right, so that we don't look fat. But Aikido is the fat man's game. You've ever seen the pictures of the ideal man or woman? The Buddha has a big belly. Everything else doesn't exist. The little tiny shoulders, they're not, they're trying to be strong. It's here, everything. Whether you're talking about wealth or physical power or whatever it is, it's the belly. So Aikido is the big belly art. So you'll get into situations like this. There's one way that Chris absolutely can't go, but there is a way that he can go, and it's up to him to figure that out. Try something else. There's a free way to go. Where are you? Just getting ready to throw Frank. There's a subtle connection between the center and the pinky here. So he's standing this way. He's not just going to give it up. From here, he's standing strong here. And from here, what I'm concentrating on mostly is my connection to the pinky and to opening my palm here. So watch what happens. As soon as I turn in, that's it. That's the position right there. So there's this little thing that happens. And it's just the subtlest movement of his head from here to here, and that makes the difference. Anytime you step forward first, you leave yourself behind, you give him back his strength. You get back here and try to lift him. You might get it. It's logical that you can crank on his neck and take him down, but you can take it to a different level and go beyond him, where it's not about throwing him, but it's about keeping your hand connected to your own center, so that every time you move, it's an expression of your center. So let's do this as an exercise where you're standing next to your partner like this, and you bring your arm up and practice keeping all of your work in front of you and keeping the pinky and your center connected. So you stay, the hand goes up, but you stay down. When is it that I get behind Frank? Am I behind him now? Am I behind him now? Am I behind him now? When do I get behind him? When my center moves. So you are where your center goes. Okay? So connect your pinky to your center. So it's no longer, that took 2 pounds. 2 pounds of pressure maybe to do that. Not much strength at all. Just practice standing next to each other and try that one. Some lift their arm up like this and you get a little cerebral here. You're going, is this right? And then you have to ask yourself, when you're looking at me and I'm like this, where's my energy? Right? As opposed to that. It's a very different thing. So don't get in your head about this. Again, it's the center. So the hand goes up, but you stay grounded like the Rock of Gibraltar. Look where we are. In that exact same position. But if I do the entire technique, I have the advantage of momentum in addition to position. Here, you see the whole technique, you see the throw. It's easy to forget about the seed that you have to plant in order to see the blossoming of the throw. Without the kuzushi, there's no throw. So go back to this. Make sure, check in with yourself. Are you connected to your center? Now, again, I don't know how my uke is going to react. He's staying on the outside here. So it turns, I'm still in alignment, but it turns into a shortcut. I'm here, he's out here. I'd like to do this one, but I'd like also for there not to be a hurricane. I'm about to leave for Seattle. Where it's going to go. So from here, he's out here this way. Turn it into a shortcut. Okay, let's try it. Sometimes it's just easier to let it go out back. That too is a shortcut. Takes out what you need. This variation I call 2.5. And one is this, very short. Two is just like one, except you turn a little bit. And then you take the balance. Three is this. But I've added 2.5. So between 2 and 3, before he gets around me, I take the balance right there. So it gives me a chance to build up while I keep him in motion. So I get a chance to settle. If you look at the angle here, he's like this. I'm coming right in for the center line. So it's this circular motion that turns into a linear movement. He's not break falling. You do it Aikido, and you see all this flying around, and you're wondering, what am I supposed to do here? You can still practice 2.5, but like that. You work all the angles, you invite him in, you step off a little bit, draw him. That's the kuzushi. As soon as he goes, that's the moment to come in. Okay, try that. See, actually what happens here is, in basics you learn. You step in, you come back and around, you bring the head to the shoulder, you lift the arm, and then you step through and throw. Those are your basics, right? but constantly the mawai is changing. So the basics like that work, provided that he also does basics with me. But from here, sometimes what happens is you get your partner, he's rooted here. I can't really go this way because I'm going to leave him behind. So instead of stepping forward, I step back. But now I'm in the same position that I would be if I had done this. Right? So I'm here. I'm here this way. I'd like to take him back this way, but he is grounded. So I step back with the outside foot instead of stepping forward with the inside foot. So I change the axis. I'm here, he's very strong here. The axis is really here. He took it back from me. So I go, okay, we'll use your axis. I'd like to use my axis, he wants me to use his. And being the Aikido guy that I am, from here, I'm going to respect his opinion and try it his way.